and welcome back. It's been a while, and that's okay. I'm happy with that because one, I don't like. Okay, well, I did like it, but then I realized that maybe it wasn't the best intentions as far as like being godly or putting YouTube first or putting God first or constantly having it wrapped around my head. And I'm talking about uploading on a consistent basis. Yes, I agree. For the YouTube algorithm, you have to do that. But if my perspective of this is to be putting God first and to just be doing this for fun, and if people watch it, and if my mentality is, oh, I don't care, people watch this, and then I actually do care, and then I'm so fixated on it, well, I'm happy to not post on a consistent basis then, because that allows me to actually stay true to what my intentions are for this, and that allows me to stay true to allowing God to tell me I can have fun with it and that I'm putting Him first. Now, that's also not to say that just because I'm not doing that doesn't mean that my relationship with Him is all perfect and everything. Please show me somebody who has a perfect relationship that's not in the Bible, because I'm human, I'm flesh, and more times than I'd like to admit, I don't, but something that I can't force God to do anything, obviously, but something that I've wanted to have a commitment with Him is that don't let me absolutely do anything, absolutely don't let me do anything if my life is leading my salvation to hell. I much rather have no fixation of doing something if it's leading my walkway to hell. I much rather have the relationship. So basically, what I asked God is that to put me through a bunch of trials in hell if my life is leading me to hell. And that's His way of keeping me back to Him. And that's not a good thing. I'm not recognizing that as a good thing. But as somebody who wasn't always in church, and as somebody who is very carnal, and as somebody who didn't always have the relationship with Him, it's very easy for me to go back to that. And it's very easy for me to not continue in it, and it's very easy for me to forget because I've never actually had that, and I'm still learning and I'm still growing with it. And so if that's helpful for me, then I don't care what people say. Sure, it may not be looked at as the best way, but I'd much rather that than not. And sorry, I do feel bad for saying that for myself, because that's really pitiful, and that's really not great. I'm admitting that, but I'm also much rather have that than not. And I'm not saying that it gets to that point. I'm not saying that. It really actually hasn't gotten to that point in a while, because I've been doing better at it. But I'm saying in a long pause and a long spiel is that I'm not trying to come across as a liar, is all I'm trying to say. And yes, anyways, so with that, I would like to talk to you about what this video is, which is my purchase from The Ordinary. And The Ordinary is basically a skincare line, and you've probably watched millions of other videos about this, or TikToks, or Reels, or etc., before ever seeing this, if you ever do in your lifetime. But basically, yeah, I just want to do it for fun. So here it is, my purchase from The Ordinary. I guess I'll go into what it is. It's a skincare line. They actually do have some hair stuff. But this is just my intensive research on it, and I'm not going to go into any of the ingredients or any of the science behind it or any of the history behind it, because let's be honest, even though I've done my research on it, I forget everything that I ever learned. I just know that, like, I got it because I did the research from it and I liked it and I knew that it would be good for me. But as far as that thing goes, I've forgotten every ingredient that I ever learned from it. So if you want to learn ingredients, I'm not the person for that. I'll just show you what I got and then tell you why I got it. So, the glycidic acid toning solution, I actually use this a lot, like a lot. And actually, I heard from like another YouTuber by Brittany and Vassler. I'm probably saying her name wrong. Sorry, really sorry. I'm not good at pronouncing names, but yeah, she actually used it for dark spots, and so that's why I like it for one, and for two, it was good for skin, and that's all I know about it. And I know like it helps with toning, and I know one day I will die. I know one day I shouldn't care about my appearance. Now if it's vanity, that's something God has to work through me, because I don't know if it's vanity. As far as like fleshly perspective, maybe, yes. As far as me saying it's not, I don't know. Okay, in all seriousness, I will be serious. If it's vanity, I don't know. That's not something God has worked through me or told me about. But as far as like purchasing it because I like the aspect of keeping my face in structure and hair and just keeping it fit and clean and youthful looking, yes, I like the idea of that. Do I know that I will pass and none of this will matter? Yes. But like I said, I ask God to tell me and bring me to my downfall if it gets out of a habit where I'm over concerning myself with it. And so that has not occurred. And I will admit that when I say this, he doesn't drastically do it. He doesn't like push me into a car or like make me break out or like make me spiral out of control. No, it used to be like that because I was not submissive enough, because again, I'm a new person. But basically, like, he'll talk to me about it is what I'm trying to say, and that has not occurred. And so I do pray on whether or not to like get it, or like, is this okay, or am I thinking too much into it, or being fleshly? No, I'm good. So I know that's for right now. I know for right now, because whoever believes in their own heart is obviously deceiving themselves. So for right now, I'm okay. I'm in the good. So, glycidic acid for toning. I also have like blackheads, hypoxic acid. I pronounce it better in my head. Okay, I was trying to pronounce it better in my head and I couldn't even think of the word. So, but anyways, sebaceous filaments. Thank you, Jesus, thank you. Because that's another thing, is that I do know that, is that whenever I'm not doing something in like God's eyes, or if I'm not like having the fruits of the Spirit, I mess up on my words. And then even though I mess up on my words, that's not necessarily me not doing that still. It's when I can't think of what to say, and it's when I can't actually focus or remember what to say, because I'm not an intellectual thinker. I don't think of like great words. I don't think of great ideas. And so whenever I do think of something like that, I know that that's Jesus telling me, hey, reminder, it's this. And so that's strike two of that. I know, like, thank you, Jesus, that I'm still in aligned with your will. I'm not saying that Jesus provided. Okay, he provided me with the money. Okay, obviously. But I'm not saying, like, it's his will of me, like, I want you to do skincare. No. Jesus allows us to have fun with the things that we have enjoyment with, and he gives us those opportunities to have enjoyment with him. He doesn't want to take away those things, but as long as our relationship with him is in the good first, he wants to bless us with what we enjoy. And so that's what I'm trying to say by all of this. Again, I'm like, I also do have a hard time with trying to get to the point of what I'm trying to say. And that's not me, like, again, being out of his will by him not giving me the words, but that's just me. Like, I'm Moses when it comes to that. I am not Aaron. In any way, I'm not Aaron. I am Moses. I am Moses. I literally be like, send somebody else because I am not a great talker. And that's what I mean is when Jesus reminds me of things like sebaceous filaments. That doesn't mean I'm going to pronounce it right, but that's what I'm trying to say by all of this. Anyways, I got this salicylic acid 2% because I would say I've stopped using this because I found something else that I really like. However, I will use this, like, again, because I do like it. Okay. Also, I'm supposed to either have milia or sebaceous acid over here, but I'm too scared to do anything with that under my eyes. So, and then I got niacinamide 10%. I would say that I break out here, and I break out worse with it, but I have to wear moisturizer with it, and that won't happen. So, it's not the product, but it's niacinamide 2% plus 1% zinc. And yes, again, not going into the ingredients because I can't pronounce any of it, and nor do I know what they are. And there are way, way better people of informativeness than me. Okay, so squalene. Also, I will put links to how I learned all of this information by the people who I learned it from. And that I will do. Okay, squalene. I do know squalene is deprived from sharks, but we found other ways of squalene being deprived from. I forget where it came from. I do know, like, this is animal cruelty free. I don't necessarily care if brands aren't. I do care, like, if the animals are literally being abused. That sucks. That's actually not right at all. But as far as when I said I don't care, is what I mean is, like, I don't know what brands or people mean by animal cruelty. I don't know what that means. Like, I obviously am not dumb. I know, like, injecting rabbits or injecting rats or injecting. Obviously, I know what that means. I know what that is. But I'm talking about how the dramaticness of it and the dramaticness of, like, how much it's pushed and compared and drastically changed. That's what I'm talking about. Because, like, people who are saying that cows and stuff are, like, being abused. Have you seen a farm? Those cows are living a happy life. Up until they don't, and they're living a happy life in my stomach. I'm not vegan, I'm sorry. But I'm not trying to make anybody angry either. I'm just... Okay, if that made you angry or upset or sad, I'm sorry. I really am. I do want to be at peace with you, so... I'm not trying to say they deserve to be butchered with a hammer. No, I don't know how cows die. I just know that majority of farms and agricultural and how farms die to be fed to people is not how people are making it sound. And that's what I'm trying to say with animal cruelty. Okay. The next thing is ascorbic acid, alpha-arbutin by 2%, and the ascorbic acid is 8%. I use this with dark spots because, well, I break out here, like once it's gone, and then like the next day it's back. Like one day it's there, and then one day the next it's there again. So I use this for the dark spots because I have a hard time with picking, and that's what I use it for. And clearly I like it. And that's another reason why I don't feel like this is vanity. It's because talking so fast, wow. Because one, I don't have a reason. I can't say that I do or don't, because one, if I believe my own heart, I'm deceiving myself, and I have to listen to what God tells me on whether or not it is. And because he's not, that is why I don't think it is. But that's all I have to say on it. So this has been my purchases from The Ordinary. I will go ahead and boop. I'm on the computer, and so like I'm using the computer as the screen light, and I'm also using the computer as a phone stand to even record. It's so, and okay, let's not do that. Oh my gosh, let's not do that. Wow. Okay, yeah. Also, that's another thing, is that I know when I'm not in his will, when I'm starting to be a klutz. Like when I want to do something on my own accord and on my own will, I become a klutz and I mess things up, and he will not let me finish it. Like, I'm a house cleaner, and I don't think people should be charging luxurious prices, obviously. And when I tried to make that video for the cleaning group I'm in, because I have permission to post it, God would not let me do it. He said no. I didn't understand the voice of it. Like, even though I heard him say it, I thought maybe, whatever, I'm gonna still do this. And he is like, no. And he shut it down. And so that's what I mean, is like, God will allow us to have enjoyment of the things we have enjoyment of. And that's what I mean when I tell God, don't let me have that enjoyment if I'm not doing right by you, as far as like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not doing it purposely because I'd much rather do this. And so that's basically what I meant. I do have an image thing where I will like mess with my hair because, well, I'm a person. And even though people be like, don't worry about that, don't care about that, don't. I get that. I get it. Yes, I understand it. Is that vanity? Yes, because obviously, pride of beauty. Duh. But I just don't like my face structure being a different way, or an image being a different scale. As far as like appearance goes, and keeping up appearance, that bothers me. Thank goodness Jesus has mercy and grace that, like, it doesn't bother me to the extent of I will cause you to have it bother you even more. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that he doesn't want us to wreck our lives. He doesn't want us to go through such a traumatic experience or such a drastic thing where he has to pull you to him. He doesn't want that. Nor will he give it to you, because he's not going to. If he wants you bad enough, he will have you. But you have to want him bad enough just as much. And because I haven't always like been in it, or it's so easy for me to be out of it, I asked him for that. Like, I asked him to do that to me. And so that's not me trying to, like, be sad, oh, wow, she has to do all that for God to get her attention. I'll raise my hand. I want it. I do. I'd much rather have that happen to me than for me to be so blind and not go back to him because I'm so fixated on something else. Yes. But this has been an ordinary review, and how do I rate it? I love it. I love how it feels. It feels great. I would say the squalene doesn't necessarily like feel soft. I will say that. Like, squalene's supposed to like help your skin texture feel soft. I would say that it doesn't. For me, as much anyways, as the niacinamide would. Niacinamide feels way better. The salicylic acid mask, I don't know. Like, it definitely was an appeal. I know that much. Let's see. The, everything else, maybe it's like a carbonara effect, which I don't think it is because obviously, like, there's scientific ingredients of it and research and dermatologists recommended, and obviously it helps the skin, but I like it, so we're going with that. And yeah, that's it. I guess I'm gonna change the video to like instead of the ordinary review, I'm gonna change it to the ordinary review with, I don't know. I have the word in my head, but as far as saying it, I don't know. Probably because it's time to wrap this video up because, well, I'm done with the ordinary review. And I actually do want to make other videos. And I'm thirsty and parched. Okay, but thank you so much for watching. And it's okay to ask God to give you something. And it's okay to ask Him to help you see your blindness. And I think that when it comes to sin, we should be recognizable to it. I think when it comes to pride, or when it comes to any type of our own will, our own downfall, we should be recognizable of it. But that's kind of hard to do when we can't believe our own heart. And so I think you should just come up with your way of, like, asking God to reveal that to you, whether it be drastic or minor or, like, starting out, baby steps. And that's where I'm at, honestly. You know how, like, when you feed baby milk and then it gets older, then you feed it, like, you know, solid food. No, I asked Jesus for steak. Like, when I first started going into believing in Him, I asked Him for steak. And then I worked my way to baby food, to milk. And that's what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not as drastic as it used to be because I asked Him for steak, and now as my relationship with Him has grown, now I'm at baby food that I can actually not be slapped with a cow. And yeah, but thank you for watching this. If you came here to learn about the ordinary, I recommend other videos. Obviously, I'm going to title this something different. I'm going to title it The Ordinary View plus something else with Jesus. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day, and that it is okay to be a sinner. No, you should not obviously go out and sin just because I said that, or just because you have that. What I'm trying to say is that there is nothing we can change about this until the day He comes back. We can only have help from Him. And it is okay to be the sinner that obviously we can't change, but that we should ask him ways of him helping us not to sin. What I'm trying to say is don't hate yourself. Don't hate yourself because of sin, but to love the person who died for that sin. And obviously Jesus doesn't want you to hate yourself. He wants you to hate the sin. So, thank you. I could go on, but I'm not going to, because that is I already know the attention span is not going to be wanting to watch. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. And yeah, I guess try the ordinary, check it out, and to come up with a plan with Jesus of helping you with what you are struggling with. And when it comes to squalling, that's what I'm trying to say, squalling, like down spiraling, is to ask him, Lord, do not let me walk away from you. Okay, thank you.